And good morning. Yet another 24 hours has passed by in a hurry, hasn't it? 74 as you're waking up today, and it's going to be hot again, 92. But I guess on the bigger things, it's a half glass empty type thing. It's not 100. Still warm. We do have rain in the forecast. We'll talk about that this morning, give you a full detailed forecast to let you know what is exactly coming our way today. We had a big election yesterday. We'll get into all of that, of what's going on. We've had a shooting overnight. Several things. There's lots in the news to talk about this morning. News or headlines, however you want to word it. Good morning. How are you? Most of all, we want to make sure that you're feeling good and your day is starting off well. You get things accomplished. That's what we hope for. Good morning to Robin Morris, watching from Arlington. Always a great neighborhood. Enjoy going through there. Good morning to Julie, Miss Alvin. Glad to see you there. Sharon, Miss Pritchett. I got to see her the other day. Such a sweetheart out on Minnebucket Road. Glad to see you up this morning. It had been way too many years. I'm not even going to start counting in my fingers. I don't have enough, do I? Barbara Smith, how are you? All the way from Philadelphia. Joy Seal, glad to see you. Terry Ray is up. It is hump day. Yeah. Some days they run together and I forget which one is which, but it is hump day. As we head toward the weekend, we hope you've got a big one planned. This is the 4th of July weekend coming up. It's going to be big. And again, I know you've heard me talk about this time and time again, but a big day for us in our little world here at the Scotty Ray Report, as we'll be moving the Scotty Ray and Candace show from MeTV over to Fox 30. What does that mean? Now, a lot of folks watch us every day online. It will not affect that. You'll be able to continue watching it, but we'll reach a lot of homes and a lot of people that may not know that we even do this. That's what's good. We'll reach a few more communities as well. So that's good. So we'll look forward to that. Again, that's going to begin 8 a.m. Monday morning, July the 4th on Fox 30 Meridian. We'll have all the different networks where you can watch it on Dish and also on DirecTV and cable channels. We'll have all that laid out where you can flick on and put that, and I'll make another post about that. Couldn't do it without y'all. We do appreciate that. Well, as we begin today, I'm already getting a lot of sunsets and sunrises. We do appreciate that. The big news this morning is, and let's go ahead and jump into this, we're waiting for official word from the Meridian Police Department. I have not gotten that yet, but it will come. What we do know at this point, let's go ahead and jump into this. As we go to Sam Media, one person was shot overnight. The best that I can understand at this point, this was most likely an accidental shooting. Where it gets concerning is this is a 14-year-old juvenile, right around in that age. It could be an age or two different, but the early reports are saying around 14 years old, was accidentally shot in the face by another juvenile. Now, this happened at Highland Park. As you'll see here, let's click on the map here. As we'll see this, the shooting actually took place right across the street on the 4400 block of Highland Park. They would go to the gazebo and wait on police. The other juvenile, from what I understand, called police immediately, said it was an accidental shooting. He didn't mean to. Everybody rushed to the gazebo there. And again, details are sketchy at this point. Quite possibly, the juvenile has had to be life-flighted to another place. I don't know that for 100% to be sure, but there's a good possibility of that. Our concerns are for the family of that child, and hate this happened. And it does bring to mind the next question that I'm going to put out there. And this is not a blame or not pointing fingers. This is a question of, we did hear that Meridian has a curfew. And you would assume this happened right at midnight last night. If this curfew was being enforced, would it have stopped this? Number two, what is a juvenile doing with a pistol? We assume it was a pistol. And that's an assumption at this point. But had we had all of that, would this have curbed it? Maybe, maybe not. But we'll wait for more words from our elected officials to find out more about this. It's just a shame. No one this shouldn't happen. You know, what were they doing out, and why did they have a gun is the next question I know everybody's asking. And I do not know the answers to that. So we'll, as soon as we get more answers on that, we will pass that along. Let me show you the next thing that went on overnight, and let's move here. There was an accident last night. This would be just off of 8th Street. Let's pull this up where we can get a view of this. We don't have many details, but we know there was an accident and a building injured. If you were going down 8th Street, right here at the red light, 45th Avenue and take a right there and go down. There's a building about right here at 918 45th Avenue, just a couple blocks right off of 8th Street. Car went into the side of that building last night. Major damage to it. We don't know the extent. Happened right around midnight as well. We'll get pictures of that a little bit later today and get those put up for you so you can see what went on with that. But major damage to that building in that area right there. That would be right there by Mr. Discount Drugs, where you take a right, 45th Avenue. I left something open that's chiming, didn't I? Shame on me. Well, as I mentioned, many pictures coming in. Now, the next thing that we're getting a lot of talk about, and I posted this last night, and I had to take out the volume or the audio to this due to the language, because you could pick it up. There was no other way to do this. I couldn't bleep it because it would have been just one long beep, 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 beep through this. But as we go back to sammedia.network, and again, this is alleged domestic violence, possibly a Mississippi Highway patrolman involved, that he may have been arrested with this. You can watch the video. This was sent to me anonymously. And as you watch this, this is bad. The original audio, and again, I did delete the audio because of the words that were said, but a brick was thrown a couple of times, and you can hear impact of the brick hitting in the original. That's loud, isn't it? I got to get that fixed. It's my understanding that there has been an arrest made. I have not gotten an official name on this, but there's an investigation launched into all this. This was near Kociusko. Read that. Watch the video if you have not seen it. We're going to talk about this a little bit more this morning, beginning at 8. Domestic violence is a horrible thing. And again, this is what you look for. Let me pull it back up. This is what it looked like near the top there at sammedia.network, or you can find it on our Facebook page as well. It's down there, a couple down below, a few pictures there. If you know of domestic violence, and this, from the best I can understand, was caught by a neighbor's camera, is what it looks like. Bad. When you start seeing the puppy dog move in the front yard is when they will come out and she's being chased, a female. Now, do we know the details of what was going on? Nope. I don't think it really matters at this point what the argument was about. It's what happened after the argument began. We do hope that everybody in this is okay, is the best I can say on that. Domestic violence, just horrible. As we turn to the next story, as we've been talking about this for weeks now, as we got ready for the runoff election last night, we go back, and as we see, Michael Cassidy led and won Lauderdale County last night. He would win that, but he trailed statewide in the end. Michael Guest would be reelected. The final vote was 46,334 to Michael Cassidy's 22,479 votes. That gave Guest about 67% of the vote in Mississippi. That's how it all ended last night in the statewide election as we went to the polls, and a big turnout yesterday as well. I want to thank everybody who watched, got their opinion. We know what Lauderdale County voted after we interviewed both, and you listened to it and decided what you wanted. The rest of the state just didn't go along with what Lauderdale County thought. We'll keep a close eye on that. The Meridian Police Department sent out a bolo yesterday afternoon. We were happy to spread this. Have you seen this young man? As we go back, they're warning him. A murder warrant has been issued for C.J. McClelland. If you see him, contact the Meridian Police Department. Now, they didn't put on here anything about armed and dangerous, but let's just go ahead and go out on a limb and assume that if someone is wanted for questioning in a murder, or there's a murder warrant listed for them, that they very well could be. So it's my assumption that just call police if you happen to bump into him there, if you know the whereabouts of it. Bad deal there. Now, yesterday as we were live, and I made this comment of, I don't know what you're talking about. As the day went on, I caught on real quickly as we found out that someone has passed away from Clark County. Now, as you read this, we go to Clark County Hot Topics. Chief Deputy Barry White said that a 911 call came into Clark County dispatchers around 7 a.m., reporting that a white female was lying in the ditch along Stagecoach Road. It was on County Road 286. Once deputies arrived and determined the female was intoxicated or dealing with some type of drug issue. We've seen that way too many times. EMS was called in. They checked on the female before being transported to the Clark County Jail. Once it was there, she was placed into a holding cell so she could sober up. At approximately 11:30, she was found unresponsive inside the holding cell, where paramedics was called again and dispatched to the jail. Once they got there, she was sent to the hospital and then later transferred from Quitman to Rush Hospital for further treatment. She would pass away while she was at the hospital. That's what we know it so far at this point. We'll be in touch with Clark County to see what we can find out more and more about this case. It's horrible for anyone to pass along. But boy, I sure have seen a lot of name calling and finger pointing. Rough. I want y'all to remember the Sheriff's Department works hard for you there in Clark County. They do a lot of great things. I'm sure that there's a lot that the general public does not know about this case. We don't know everything. All I'm saying is before you start jumping up and down and saying things, make sure to know all the facts. Another thing, and you'll have to forgive me for this. I'm going to get this from my wife. I've got to talk to her in a minute to get the full story on this. But this bothered me to no end last night as we all will scroll down Facebook looking for headlines. And this was, and again, I wish I had the exact wording to put it, but a local lady here in the Meridian area made a simple post about being a Christian last night. It was simple, more or less thanking God that she has the right to praise the Lord. Before long, she would be attacked. It was over and over. I have never been more shocked in my life to read such. I mean, it really set me back that Americans, wait a minute, Mississippians could think that way. Now, I know that my opinion is not the all authority, but I do believe in God. I'll never deny God publicly. But as I read this, basically the people that were jumping on her were in their early 20s and saying that she was pushing their religion on them. No, she simply made a post that she believed in God. She didn't cross the line. You didn't have to stop at her page. You didn't have to put nasty comments. If you don't believe with that, mind your own business. Go on. You didn't have to stop and do that. She wasn't pushing anything. If anything, you were. That bothered me. That's shocking that the tides have turned in our nation to where people will jump on you for being a Christian. Where do we go as a nation past this, folks? Where are we headed? Now, I don't have the numbers on other counties, but I do know in Lauderdale County, this little place that we all live in, there's about 80,000 people that live here, somewhere around that. As we go out, I know Kipper's got about, 12,000 people, but 80,000 here. Of that 80,000, there's only about 20 to 22,000 that go to church. Of that, not every one of those show up. A direction in this country is taking a left turn. I'm just saying, didn't mean to get on a soapbox, but that shook me up after reading that. It just kind of floored me there. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Y'all read up on all of this. As we start to look at some of the state news this morning, one of the defendants in the welfare case that's going on of the defrauding of Mississippians, where we needed the most money for those that need help. They're calling for possibly a civil defendant. Now, this comes from Mississippi Today, as I read headlines last night. The misspending, that scandal that went on. One of the defendants in it is saying that former Phil Bryant should be charged with something. I'll leave it at that. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. It's going to get thick. That's a serious thing there. As we go to Jackson, Mississippi, police are investigating after a 20-year-old was killed in a drive-by shooting. I didn't shock anybody, did I? I didn't think so. Pretty common that we watch in Jackson, Mississippi at this point. They don't know who or what as they investigate that. A George County woman in Mississippi is being sentenced for burning and smothering a child. Now, they lived, but how can anyone as an adult burn a child, try to smother it with a pillow? There are some concerning things that go on in our society. That's one of them. how you could hurt one. Now, was that drug influence when she was doing it? I don't know. Doesn't matter, does it? It's downright mean. On a good note, this makes you have a feel good as you wake up this morning. Remember the guy we talked about from Burger King? Worked there 27 years, never missed a day of work, and he got basically a ticket to go see a movie and a card that said thank you. And then a GoFundMe was set up. They're up to $200,000 is what America has given to him. And I want to say he made it to the Today Show, if I'm not mistaken there, and they brought his grandkids in for him to see him. That's a feel good. Glad that happened there. Not everybody is bad in America. They're not. We just see more and more of the headlines that they get more attention. There's no other way to put it. They're still good in this world. We have to fight to find it sometimes. As we look at this, Atlanta, Georgia. How could somebody do this? This is a national story this morning. As a guy goes into a Subway, he thinks he got too much mayonnaise on his sandwich. What does he do? He shoots and kills the employee over too much mayonnaise. I ask you, what's causing this? Is it video games? What is it that is taking the emotion away from America to where they think it's okay to do this? The next step we go way out west of here. We're sitting here, and this is somewhat 2,000 miles out to California, West Hollywood. They have voted, this happened yesterday, to defund the police even more. It will take 5 more officers off of the street with the vote that happened yesterday. Now, y'all think ahead, 6 months, a year, what's going to happen there? I think we all know the ending story. And why they can't see what's going to happen is beyond me. We'll talk some more this morning as we go into the 8 o'clock show about some of the elections that happened around the world, or not the world, but the United States yesterday, and how it will affect what's coming up. Another Trump supporter was voted in yesterday. We'll talk about that and how it affects everything. FDA. This is just headlines there. I got a good friend, I'm not going to say her name yet because I hadn't talked to her in detail, that not in the state of Mississippi, but another state, went to a funeral. I think they're up to like 16 in their family now that now have COVID. Are we getting another rebound? I'm not sure. But the FDA is recommending COVID shots to target Omicron, with jabs expected to roll out in October. They're saying they want another jab. We'll watch that. But I know a few people locally that have gotten it, but that's the biggest that I've heard of that I'm aware of in my little tight-knit world. Now, as we all watch this, as we head for the election coming up in 24, the presidential election, this stuff is on TV every night about the January 6th. We had somebody try to say that the president was so, at the time, Donald Trump, was so upset he tried to grab the wheel of the Secret Service. They put that out there so he could go over and be a part of everything that was going on. As we find out today that the Secret Service are willing to testify that no such thing happened. All I'm saying is be careful of what you read. There are people in this world that type things and put it out there that, well, try to mislead Americans. It's wrong. In my opinion, you should, whatever happens, you ought to write what happened and let the Americans decide how they want that. Let them interpret it for themselves, just the facts. But we don't get that anymore, do we? There are some good people left in this world. We can't overlook that. There are some bad ones, and we also need to be aware of them. That's why I talk about it. We always need to be aware of our surroundings, I think is what I'm looking for. We'll check that forecast next, as it's got some rain in it. Y'all don't go off. We're going to talk about that next as we get this day started for you bright and early.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings this week. Fresh corn, a 3-pack, $1.79. Idaho potatoes, a 8-pound bag, only $3.99. A1 steak sauce, 10-ounce bottles, 2 for $8. Also, Heinz 57 steak sauce, 10-ounce bottle, 2 for $8. Twin-pack Boston Butts, $1.69 a pound. And certified Angus beef T-bone steaks, $9.99 a pound.
And we're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers, because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month.
Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk. Had a chance to go by Freeman yesterday and get caught up on all the news. Keith is back at work. If you hadn't dropped by in a while, doing a lot better. Looks good. Drop in and say hello to them. Lawnmowers, tractors, they'll even work on your stuff for you there. Good folks. Hope you'll visit with them there. As we begin our day, as I mentioned, a little bit of rain. Let's look at Meridian Honda radar to show you exactly what's out there this morning. As we glance across the state of Mississippi, we're starting to show some showers there on the coast. We got some rain in our forecast as well. Heavier rain as we head over near Macon, Georgia. Beautiful town. Been through there before. Up through Augusta. Gorgeous place. Athens, Georgia. And we cut into the Carolinas. Showers this morning as we get on up into these areas of North Carolina as well. Lots of fog. Charleston, West Virginia, as you're cutting through those hills. Y'all be careful. Asheville, also Knoxville. Those areas have fog this morning. As we back out and look across the state, woo, look at that up there northwest of Milwaukee. It's going to be Elroy, Wisconsin. It's thick there, all that fog. We got some showers up in the Dakotas as well this morning. As we come on across, we get out to Seattle, those areas, a little bit of fog, and Sacramento, those places look great. Come back across Texas, it's just hot. That's what we've got there. We're watching all these showers off the coast here into the Gulf, and we're going to look at what we've got coming up with all these different storms that are out there. Boy, it's a lot going on. The Gulf, the Atlantic getting a little action. And we also see a little bit out here on the West Coast. Let's pull this back up. I didn't show you that there, but a little bit happening here as we look at that. Kayla coming on. It's not going to affect anybody at this point, but that is out there. Okay, let's get into the forecast a little bit deeper this morning so we can all know what's going on with the weather. And planning your day is kind of serious, isn't it? Knowing what to do and when to do it. We're going to get wet, so let's get further into this morning so that you'll know exactly what to do today.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs, record lows, 1988, 104 degrees on today. We'll be much lower than that. The record low was set back in 74. 58 degrees is what it was for the record low. As we look at today, there are showers in the forecast. South of us should be heavier toward the coast. But there's a chance, about a 70% chance the Meridian area could see this. 91 to 92 is forecasted from the Meridian area from Clark County all the way up into Winston toward Mississippi State, back over to Vicksburg, 91. A little cooler around Brookhaven. Maybe 89 is what they're looking for. As we go to Alabama, well, we see this 88 in Demopolis is where it will be there at the river. Montgomery, 89 over in Auburn, 86, and light showers throughout the area there. As we come across, this is what we're looking at again for the next 6 to 10 days. Still a heat wave there, but we do see that maybe a break coming. Although we're in those lower 90s, we have high heat indexes over the next few days. All right, here's the 7-day outlook of what we've got here from the National Weather Service as we start our day to kind of find out what's happening with it. All right, today, we're looking anywhere from 89 to 91, depending upon where you are and how that forecast falls there. A 70% chance of showers in that forecast, partly sunny for most of the time. The thunderstorms will come after 10 a.m. this morning. Heat index right at 100. They're calling it 98 for the day. By tonight, we'll get down to a 40% chance of showers. It'll be before 10 o'clock and ending there. Low around 71 overnight. By tomorrow, we bring it back once again with a 70% chance of rain. It will move to 1 o'clock in the afternoon is what we're expecting. High a little bit cooler, 86 to 87 tomorrow. Same for Friday as we look to 70% chance of showers then and rain throughout the weekend. Now, as we look to the 4th, when we'll be celebrating the greatest country in this world, our little birthday party there. 40% chance is what we're looking for. That's not bad. You'll still be able to shoot fireworks. It's not going to be a gully washer by any means. So that's the good news as you make plans to attend different fireworks. We'll watch that. What are the temps going to do all the way through the 13th? We'll keep those in the low 90s through the 7th. Around the 9th, we start seeing those rise again up to 94, 95 into the mid-90s. Again, that's 2 weeks out. What are the odds that it will stay the same? We know that. It'll change a little bit. Now, the Gulf, as we look at this, we're watching this pretty closely. We've got a 40% chance of this coming in on the coast there of Texas. Most likely will happen. As we get back here, this is going to turn and go to Mexico, this 90% chance. This is what we need to watch in the Gulf here. We haven't gotten that exact pattern. But number 2 back here is what we'll pay close attention to for the Gulf over the next few days. That's that pattern of what we've got right here is going on in Mexico. But we will watch back here as this could shoot up through there. It's not definitive, and we'll watch it closely. What's the fishing going to be today? Well, as we go to Chet's Paint and Body, Chet tells us that our first best time to go will be this afternoon, right around 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you're going to be wetting the hook, I don't think any of us were up at 1:15 fishing, were we? Maybe there's a few, but not in the masses by any means. The wind's going to be light east wind, becoming southeast 5 to 10 today if you're going to be out fishing, just to keep you up to date on the wind and how it's going to be acting. That's a closer look at your forecast. Again, we're coming back in roughly an hour and 4 minutes from now for a live morning show. Look forward to having you a part of it. Joyce Snow Godwin, good to see you there. Debbie Walker is up. Jeremiah Johnson up, and Adam. Barbara Smith, you also. Laura Lee is up, and so many others there. Miss Winnie, glad to see y'all. Again, I'll be back in roughly an hour and 4 to 3 minutes from now. We'll go live to tell you all that's going on in the community. Thank y'all so much, and we'll be back. Thanks for being a part of the show and making it for what it is. I'm Scotty Ray. We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: